Hello, Professor. So this is the video I'm putting together for Chris Crutcher. So Chris Crutcher, he's like in his 70s now, and I think he had a life of learning how to write. It talked about, I read one of the biographies, and it talked about his father having Playboy magazines, and his mother was, biased toward the Playboy magazine, but his father was like, well, there are good readings in the Playboy magazine. So Chris overheard that, and then he started looking at, reading the readings and all in Playboy magazines, and that inspired him to write. And I think that was so cool, to turn something, well, it may not be negative for others, but Playboy, naked posing magazine into inspiration for writing. Some little trials that he went through in his little town in Idaho. They pretty much recruited all of the guys that went to school to produce a team, a basketball team, the football team, pretty much and he also had mentioned that they come over your house and have your parents, recruit you even if you didn't want to play. So like Chris, I believe he didn't want to play sports, but he ended up playing football, basketball, I believe it said swimming. But so yeah, and then Chris Crutcher went to school, and he had stole his brother's grade A book reports, because the only book he had under his belt was, I said it in PowerPoint, To Kill a Mockingbird. That's the only book that he had ever read, and so he went through, got through high school on that and went to college, and but thenceforth he's written a lot of books and got multiple awards. And so he did become a teacher, and then he became a director of an alternative school in California, and then he became a family therapist, I believe. And I believe all of these things dealing with adolescence, you know, um, catapulted him into writing all of these books, and he wrote a couple of short stories. But yeah, I believe all this observing all the kids and what they're going through in their stories has inspired his writing as well. And that's about it. Chris Crutcher, I would recommend him, like I said, for patron saints of nothing, I recommend it to my son. I would recommend some of Chris Crutcher's books definitely to my son. He's an adolescent. Well, I have two, a 13 and a 14-year-old. I would definitely recommend his books, and because I believe he writes, in the person of the teenager, and trials and tribulations and how they come forth as pure gold. Thank you. Have a blessed day.